let's think about what are the factors that shape that long-term growth. The first piece is labor. Okay? Now, I think it has long been understood that India has good demographics and nothing has changed on the facts about demographics. In addition, I feel that the quality of the labor force has been going up substantially, and this is not something that has been adequately understood. Every year that people spend in the labor force in connection with globally competitive firms, there is learning by doing. So people are learning by being in the job. Today in India, you're holding a 40-year-old person who has been working in a private company for 20 years, and that generates capability. This is a kind of knowledge that did not exist in India 20 years ago or 10 years ago. So if anything, the quality of the labor force today is better than it ever was, and the basic forces shaping the labor force are very good. There is a great surge in college attendance that is happening just around now. Next, I turn to capital. The investment rate in India continues to be very high. You've got 35% odd investment to GDP. And while people worry in China that high investment is unsustainable, here there is no such problem. The high investment is a feature of this economy in a more stable and a sustainable way. So I don't think any of us would worry that is there going to be this continued 30-35% investment to GDP ratio, and I think the answer is yes. So on average, I think we are asking whether a 30%, 35% investment rate will generate a 7-7.5% trend growth. I think the answer is yes. It does not seem like too much of a stretch. The third big story in India's growth is about globalization. The heart and soul of productivity change is engagement with the world economy, and this is all kinds of engagement. What India needs and what India stands to benefit from is movements of ideas, of people, of capital, of international trade, of financial services, and in all these things we are doing a lot in terms of that engagement. For example, India is well connected into the world by the internet, and unlike some countries, we don't have problems in terms of trying to censor the internet or things like that. So young people in India are exposed to ideas. Young people in India are able to access ideas over the internet, are traveling abroad to interact with their peers and with firms all over the world. Global firms are operating in India. Indian firms are becoming multinationals. The trade GDP ratio is continuously growing. The capital account integration is completely growing, and so on. So it seems to me that there is a great process of reintegrating India into the world economy. This is a project that began in 1991, but it has continued and it has gathered momentum. And in many ways today there is much more of that nature happening than ever before in India's history. So here's a simple fact. How many people from India travel abroad? Okay, now traveling abroad is very, very important in terms of exposure to ideas, in terms of human networks, in terms of engagement with the world. Now the statistics are absolutely striking because of the rising incomes. There is a much bigger slice of India today that is able to go visit Singapore or London for a vacation. That's important. I think it matters. I think it shapes the impulses and the ideas that are going into the labor force. So if you think of capital, labor and productivity, in my opinion, the basic forces are in place. And that is why I am relatively optimistic that India will continue to be on a high trend growth for a long, long time to come. There will be fluctuations. There will be good times and bad times. We should not get euphoric in the good times, and we should not be down in the dumps in the bad times.